one thing I've talked about before on the channel is that clones can be a decent way to save some money and pinch some pennies here and there in your hobby of collecting fragrances. Now, do I think an individual should have a collection built up entirely of clones? It's actually none of my business. I would encourage you to maybe try to branch out into some other things and maybe some originals and that sort of thing, just so you have a variety of stuff. But don't let me stop you. Don't let anyone else stop you. I think clones can be very beneficial when they're supplemental and when you just sprinkle them in on top of your original collection, because one of the arguments can be that, if you spent all of your money on those clones, well, you could have saved up some of that and bought the real deal, and that is one argument. But like I mentioned, if you're kind of more sparing with it and you're just trying to save some money and here and there, and maybe you're not sure entirely if you're going to like the scent DNA, and so you buy a clone to check it out first, that's a great way to go. But today I wanted to talk about 10 of the most accurate fragrance clones in my collection, because I've done videos on these before. A lot of these I've done like standalone reviews on at first impressions, and I've done a couple lists kind of centered around clones, but I've never compiled a list of the ones that are actually the closest to the thing that they are intending to clone until now. Like, trust me when I say, when I tried each and every one of these, I was impressed. You're going to see going into this that this is a really solid group of scents that get so incredibly close to the original that it's almost kind of scary. Especially when you factor in the price point of almost all of these. They're much more affordable. A lot of these are going to be $30, $40, sometimes a bit less, maybe a bit more. We have a wide range here, but we're going to talk about that. And real quick though, I want to point you over to my community tab. If you like saving money on fragrances, which I think we all do, get subscribed to the channel so that way those community tab posts show up in your subscription feed, because I'm posting deals over there every day, multiple times a day. Might also not be a bad idea to bookmark that community tab page on your browser, your desktop, and just check back to it frequently, a few times a day like I had mentioned. Posting deals over there all the time. New stuff, old stuff, discontinued stuff, rare stuff. Anything that's a good deal, I post about it. So make sure you kind of work your way over there. Get subscribed. And to that note, I'll link all of these fragrance clones down below as well. Buying these gray market at discounters are going to be your best bet. And that's just kind of the best way to save some money in general, especially on these. So let's get it started with this guy. I believe it's $29, $29.30, and it is a just standard 100 ml Al Haramain's Detour Noir. So this was actually the inspiration for this video, so I wanted to put it front and center. And the reason why is because from day one, I've been so impressed at the accuracy of this clone. To Layton, of course. I mean, it is just almost a dead ringer. About as close to a dead ringer as you can possibly get. One thing that's important to note is there's never going to be an exact one-to-one clone. There's always going to be subtle, minute differences, and that's to be expected, and that's normal. But this one here really cuts out so many of the variables, and it gets you as close as possible without paying the $230 or $40 for Layton. $30, $240 or $30 or whatever it is. I'm pointing over here because it's right back there. Great stuff. You get that vanilla, the cinnamon, fruity apple up top, that sweetness, the lavender. It's perfect for the upcoming fall season. I highly encourage just about everyone out there to give this one a shot. If you're skeptical about Layton and you're curious about it, instead of getting a sample, which you could do, you could spend a little bit more money and get a full 100 milliliter bottle of something that smells very close to it. To me, if you're just trying to discover the DNA, this actually might be the better move. I mean, even a decant of it is going to be expensive, especially if you're getting one of decent size to actually be able to wear it. So a nice way to test it out. This next one, we have Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Parfum Limited Edition. Kind of lost my train of thought there because these names really get a little bit wild. They don't seem to be stopping. Now, this one here, from everything that I've tried, which is all of them aside from the parfum oil, okay? All of them besides that one, this is the one that has impressed me the most. Even going back to the original EDT, which is known for that lemony kind of off-putting opening, that one I was still like, okay, I can respect this for the price point. This one is like, whoa, This is really impressive. You get more of that birch, more of that smokiness, a ton of woods going on, very masculine, very sharp, but not like in a synthetic way like the EDT. It's you know, a refined sharpness, and the sharpness is something that actual Aventus has as well. And also it's got just a little bit of that sweet pineapple bergamot deal going on, like you would come to expect from an Aventus clone. Like I said, this parfum is super smooth. It's a great performer, and out of all of the ones that I've tried, again, except for that pure parfum oil, which can be a little bit tough to get, this is the one you should get. Now, this next one here is a clone of one of my favorite summer staples. This is another one where I got it in and I was hooked. And this is a deal where I don't think I knew what this was a clone of when I bought it. I can't remember for sure, but I don't think I did. I know there's a few of these in here that was like that, but as soon as I smelled it, I knew what it was. Again, I can't remember for sure if I knew or not going into it. I'd had to watch my own review back. Lattafa Fakar, it's in the Eau de Parfum, and this is a clone of YSL Eau de Parfum. So I mean, when you get this in and smell it, you know it's YSL EDP, EDT combination right off the bat. You know, it has a little bit more of that kind of lavender linens freshness that the EDT has. And then as it dries down further, some more of the sweetness starts to come in. So it is almost like a hybrid of the two. That being said, though, it's a $20 scent on discounters, and YSL EDP usually trending around $109, $110 for 100 ml. We're talking massive savings here. Performance is good. It's not quite as good as the YSL, but at this price point, you can spray it on heavier. You could carry the bottle around with you. It's a little bit funky looking, but you could do it, or just, again, apply it a little bit more generous in the morning or whenever you're going out, and you could always carry a decant. You know, for the price point that this one is at, I really can't beat up on it too much. The quality and the closeness and the accuracy that this one has is very impressive. So one of my favorite fragrances is Versace Pour Homme and Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So I guess two of my favorite fragrances. I love the DNA. The DNA is kind of one. They've kind of you know, shifted together a little bit. But if you don't want to spend the money on the Chanel and you want a hybrid of the two and you don't want to buy both of them, you just kind of want to have a one and done deal, check out Missoni Wave. So the easiest way to put it here is that this combines that sweetness of the Chanel and that super bright floral citrusy freshness of the Versace. That's really all it is. You've got a combination. So there's a little bit combination of a fresh and sweet balance here, and it works so well. Works great in the high heat, really holds up, and is about a, I don't know, $39, $40 scent on discounters, somewhere around in there. You get nice presentation, magnetic cap, good hefty bottle. It's another one that is definitely worth the price. I thought I would never see the day, because the fragrance here that this one is a clone of has been out for a good several years at this point, right? It's an OG at this point. It's one of my absolute all-time, hands down, favorite fragrances ever. And up until now, I haven't found a clone of it. Like, it's taken several years, and I just, at this point, wasn't even expecting to ever get one, you know? So this really caught me off guard, and as soon as I got it in, it was one of those things where I was like, yep, I know exactly what this is. This is Lattafa Sequat, okay? It's an eau de parfum. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but, you know, close enough. So this is a clone of Acqua di Gio Profumo. Sorry to keep you hanging there. Yeah, that fragrance has been out for a long time. As you guys know, one of my favorites, and never had a clone of it. There's been tons and tons of Acqua di Gio clones. There's been even a clone of Acqua di Gio Profondo, which is new, or newer anyway, and probably a couple others in there that's been cloned. But I mean, the DNA is very popular, and Profumo was at the top of the game there for a good while. And we just now, more recently, got a clone of it. And this one gets you really close. You get that smokiness, that patchouli, incense combination with the C notes. I think this is also one of those situations where I picked it up on Fragrance By when they kind of newly stocked it in, and I didn't know what I was getting, because in the title they had it as Profumo clone. So I didn't know if that was Armani Code Profumo or Acqua di Gio Profumo or some other Profumo, right? Kind of vague. So I picked it up and I got it in, and the second I sprayed it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Acqua di Gio Profumo almost to a T. It's impressive and incredible how well this one does at representing that scent. And I would know because, well, I've got a couple bottles of this fragrance. And I'm actually missing some of them too. I mean, this is all Acqua di Gio Profumo. I love this fragrance. I've smelled it a couple times. And again, there's a couple more bottles back there. I am missing some, I just noticed, which is kind of concerning. So I know Acqua di Gio Profumo, and that one there, it gets you close. And for those of you who are wondering, that was my bottle of Armani Code Ice that went flying. It's a discontinued fragrance. Just got one little chip out of the cap right here. So this does indeed pass the durability test. Alrighty, let's jump into this one next. We have Armaf Très Nuit. So easiest way to put this one is it's another Creed clone. Okay, Creed's getting their butt handed to them in this video, and it's Green Irish Tweed. Okay, this one's been around for a while, very well known in the community, and usually on a good day, it's a $20 scent. It's an eau de toilette. It's a 100 milliliter bottle. I actually like the bottle. I think it looks decent, better than a lot of the other clone bottles from Armaf and other clone brands. I think it looks a little bit more streamlined. Some of these ones that you've seen and will see can get a little bit out there, but I think this one's pretty classy. I just like the leather that wraps around it. It looks nice. The cap does click into place. You get good presentation, and that scent is Green Irish Tweed, man. This is a better buy than Davidoff Cool Water Eau de Toilette 10 times over. It's better quality. It's better performing. It's just better. I'm not hating on OG Cool Water. If you like that, then by all means, please wear it. But I just think personally, this is the way to go. And also simply the fact that I think Cool Water is not all that close to Green Irish Tweed. I really don't. I just don't think they're all that similar. But this one is. Okay, this is going to be another clone of one of my favorite fall fragrances ever. You go way, way back on the channel, back to when I was just not really knowing all what I was talking about too much. I had a little bit of an idea, but mostly I didn't. I was talking about this fragrance, not this clone, but the original. And it's a scent that reminds me of just fall, Halloween, that sort of thing. We're talking Afnan 9 PM, which is a clone of Jean Paul Gaultier, Ultra Male. You know, it's that apple, cinnamon, vanilla, pear fragrance. No apple and Ultra Male, but I do believe they're actually using apple in the Afnan to give off that fruitiness. That being said, the accuracy is still incredible. I mean, this is 98% Ultra Male, and I don't know of any other Ultra Male clones out there. And if there are, I would doubt that they're as close as this one, because this is just incredibly similar. An Ultra Male could be kind of a hard DNA to get close to, I think, just because of the amount of sweetness and the impact that it has. There aren't really too many fragrances out there like Ultra Male. This is one of the few that does get you in that ballpark and get you very close. Also at a good price. I've gone on about this before, so I feel bad doing it, but the presentation is amazing. Heavy cap that clicks into place, heavy glass bottle, it's a thick glass. This is a very sleek looking presentation. It's another one kind of like the Armaf Très Nuit, where this looks great sitting on your shelf. People wouldn't think it's some clone from some Middle Eastern brand or something, right? This looks nice. Really good job on the presentation. And a lot of people are going to prefer that presentation over Ultra Male. You know, some people aren't really a fan of those bottles, and I can see why. Okay, let's go over to this one here, Latafa Assad. Now, I do have to apologize in advance because this one's been a hot seller. So there's a good chance that it may be out of stock currently while this video goes live. But I don't want you to get mad or upset because you're going to be subscribed to the channel after this, and as soon as this comes in stock, I'm going to post about it on my community tab. So it's really not that big of a deal. I'll let you know as soon as this comes into stock. Stick with me, get subscribed, check the page, and I'll have one in your hands as soon as it comes up. That being said, though, this is a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir, and $27 for this, if I didn't say that already. Elixir, $160, $165. For a 60 ml bottle, they just came out with a 100 ml. You're looking at $235. It's an expensive fragrance, and it's a designer, right? $27, and it is so close to the point where it's absurd. It's insulting. Like, it's frustrating for some people how close this is, and it's a little bit more, I don't know, mass appealing in a way than the actual Dior. So I think this here is all around just a super solid pickup that I think is really good. Kind of running low here on time, so I'm going to run through these last two quickly. Hanny Mori Him. This is a Gucci Pour Homme 2 clone. You know, that popular tea fragrance in the bottle that looks like this. That does nothing for you, but you know what it is. Gucci Pour Homme 2. Great tea scent with a nice kind of ozonic freshness to it as well. This one uses a ton of violet leaf in here. Get you very close to that one. And Gucci Pour Homme 2 is a discontinued fragrance. This is one of your only few options to get something in that ballpark. Really nice stuff, and it's super cheap, like 20 bucks or less. Now, I've shot a full review for Afnan Highness 2 Green, but I haven't put it out yet. It might be out by the time you see this video, or it might not. So just stay tuned if it hasn't been out yet, because it will at some point. This is a clone of Royal Oud by Creed, and it's really well done. Uses a ton of cedar wood, which is what Royal Oud uses. Contrary to popular belief, neither of the two fragrances uses a bunch of oud, which is a little bit, you know, contradictory, but that's the truth. You don't get a ton of oud out of Royal Oud, and so because this is a clone of that, you don't get a ton of oud out of this one either. Lots of dry woods, cedar wood, some smokiness, a little bit of a green note thing going on in the mid of this one. It's a very nice clone at a fraction of the cost of the Creed. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the most accurate fragrance clones that I have in my collection. These are all impressive if you want to save some money and get some similar things to some popular, more expensive fragrances. This is going to be for you. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.